Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today VSEC just filed an 8K report and I'm seeing some interesting moves regarding shareholder votes and dividends. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company had its annual meeting with some important votes. And they also announced a dividend. This is a report from VSE Corporation, a company in the aerospace and defense industry. They have about 1,600 employees and a PE ratio of around 17.3. We've seen some news lately about their stock and equity units, and significant institutional investors have stakes, with Calamos advisors holding over 10%. So the big news in this filing is about VSE Corporation's 2026 annual meeting of stockholders that happened on May 7, 2026. They laid out the voting results for 4 key proposals. It looks like most shareholders turned out to vote with over 93% of the shares represented. First up, they voted on electing 8 directors. All 8 nominees were elected, getting a very high number of 4 votes. For example, John A. Cuomo received over 24.8 million for votes with only about 337,000 withheld. This strong approval for the board suggests shareholders are generally happy with the current leadership in place. Next, shareholders voted on whether to keep Grant Thornton LLP as their independent accountants for 2026. This also passed with flying colours. They got over 26.1 million for votes compared to just about 25,000 against. It seems the company's financial watchdogs are well regarded by the shareholders. Then came the advisory vote on executive compensation. This is where things get a bit more interesting. While the proposal to approve executive pay was still passed, it wasn't as overwhelmingly positive as the others. It received about 19.7 million for votes, but also saw a significant 5.4 million against votes. This indicates a portion of the shareholders have some concerns about how the top brass is being compensated. It is a non-binding vote, meaning the board doesn't have to change anything, but it is a clear signal from the owners of the company. The last proposal was about amending the company's charter to allow for the issuance of blank check preferred stock. This type of stock gives the board a lot of flexibility to issue shares with different rights and privileges, often used for strategic purposes like acquisitions or raising capital without needing immediate shareholder approval for each specific issuance. This proposal also passed with over 21 million for votes. This move gives the board more tools to deploy for future company growth or restructuring. Beyond the shareholder meeting, there is another piece of news. On the same day, May 7, 2026, VSE Corporation announced that its board of directors declared a quarterly cash dividend. They will be paying out $0.1 per S-share. This dividend is set to be paid on the 29th of July to shareholders who own the stock by the 15th of July. This is a positive sign, showing the company is generating enough cash flow to return some value directly to its investors. It is not a massive dividend, but it is a consistent payout. Finally, the filing lists the exhibits attached. This includes the certificate of amendment related to that blank check preferred stock they just got approval for, and the press release about the dividend. Looking at this filing, VSE Corporation seems to be navigating its shareholder relations and strategic planning quite smoothly. The election of directors and the auditor ratification were strongly supported, indicating trust in current operations. The approval to authorize blank check preferred stock signals a readiness for future strategic moves, which could be anything from acquisitions to creating new share classes to fund growth. The dividend declaration, while modest, adds a layer of income return for shareholders, which is always a welcome sign of financial health. However, the advisory vote on executive compensation did show a notable split. Almost 20% of the votes cast were against it. This is something to keep an eye on. It could signal simmering dissatisfaction among a segment of shareholders regarding how management is being rewarded relative to company performance. While the board is not obligated to act, it is a strong signal that they might need to address these concerns in future compensation plans or communications to maintain full shareholder alignment. In essence, the company is moving forward with strategic flexibility and returning some capital, but there is a subtle warning flag around executive pay that investors should be aware of. Alright, that is my take on VSE Corporation's latest filing. What is your view on these votes and the dividend announcement? Let me know in the comments if you found this breakdown helpful. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. You can find the tools I use for research linked in the description. That is my take. Stay decoded, like this video, comment with your thoughts. Subscribe for more, and join our Discord community linked below.